My name is Frances Ward and I'm one of 2 deputy principals here in Loreto Secondary School in Bray.
And I'm Dee Ryan and I'm the other deputy principal. Well, the first thing is, I think that staff should be autonomous. They shouldn't have to come to us for every little piece of information. Like, we're not the gatekeepers of all the information. We're not precious about it. The school runs better when everybody has the information that they need at their fingertips. They don't have to go searching for it. So that's the first thing. We want our staff to be autonomous and be able to take that on. And when they have that information, it makes them more empowered to do other things beyond maybe just, coming in the morning, leaving in the evening. They're able to connect with their students in a different way. They're able to connect with our school as a community in a different way. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is, like, before, all that information was on a file in our computer. And every time someone wanted something, they'd have to come and knock on our door, which everybody only needs 2 minutes, but we have like 100 staff here. Our community without our parents is close to 1,000. If everybody needs 10 minutes of our day, like, nothing can get done. We can't move the school forward. We can't make sure that everything's being done. There's no way you can get to that. So taking all that away and just making it accessible to everybody has made our days so much easier. It's made our lives easier in terms of being able to get to things we never would have been able to do.
It's also streamlined supervision for events as well. So when we organise events, it allows us then to see what teachers are free, what's windfall basically, like what teachers have been freed up as a result of this event having been created. So it gives greater flexibility for supervision and just really, you've got a much better handle on what's going on in the school with the events.
Because again, it's to be able to see everything in one place. Before, like Frances was saying, like in the morning when we're doing supervision, like it's a big part of our job, that supervision substitution. You have to make sure that everybody's supervised. And so if you don't have to go looking up student timetables to see what teachers are freed up, if you just literally roll over something and it gives you the list of people you can put into the right place, it's such a time saver. I know that's real, like, poor deputy principals, but it's massive in terms of being able to deal with other things in the morning. Because if I have to get the supervision done, I cannot deal with teachers coming in. Whereas if I can get it done quickly, then people can come in to me, or parents or students, whoever needs to. But the supervision has to be done. Yeah. That has to be top priority. So it does. It tightens everything up.
I think another huge benefit would be from the SEN point of view, where children who would have special educational needs, a teacher can now see straight away in their class, if they hover over, we say Mary's name, she has dyslexia, she needs assistance with, or whatever, So there's every teacher is aware now of what every child's educational plan is, because they can see it there in front of them. And we have the little, even the little medical things where we have the little cross. I mean, that makes a huge difference if somebody has a nut allergy or somebody has to use an EpiPen, whatever it is. Every teacher has access to that information. So you're reducing the risk all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I mean, sometimes teachers mightn't, look at it, but at least we're confident that that information is there. I mean, we would always, every staff meeting at the beginning of the year, we would just remind staff, look, the information is there. All you need to do is access it. You need to kind of just hover over the name. You'll see the little flags, what the flags are for. Now, that was something that we started to introduce, I'd say maybe in the second term last year. So again, like, it takes a while to embed all of these features, for the teachers, but definitely I think we'll see the benefit of that further down the line. But I think that's a really important aspect of Compass.
Yeah. And it's time saving for the teachers as well. Like, so before they would have had to go into a drive and access the students. They weren't necessarily grouped in their classes because everybody has to have access to that. Whereas now they go into their class and they can see there are little, say, red or yellow boxes for particular students. Oh, I better have a little look at that. And there's strategies and there's, little tips and tricks to be used with that particular student for that particular class. Whereas before, it became a whole other massive part of their job, which really wasn't practical. It was the only way we could do it, but this is so much better. So it doesn't just give us back time. Like, it gives all of our teachers back time as well, it's great. And then I think as well the landscape of what we call it SFL, support for learning in our school, that landscape has changed massively in the last few years. So even to the extent of, say, our English as an additional language, we would have a number of Ukrainian students now in the last couple of years, and that I suppose, facility on Compass to be able to group those students together. And even in terms of designing the way the timetable can work back to back, and when we can communicate with teachers that those students will have EAL in these classes, or this week they're having a particular speaker or whatever, so those supports can be improved. And similarly then, like I said before, if there's a student struggling in a particular subject, we're able to spot that quicker. The teachers can spot it quicker. You know, you might, like schools are so fast. I'm teaching whatever it is, like now it's fewer, but say it would be 9 classes in a day. I'm not noticing that Mary is missing every Tuesday morning and every Thursday afternoon and every Friday morning, because I have all of these other students to take care of. Whereas when I call up my roll and I'm able to see it straight away, I'm able to go, oh, maybe there's something here. I need to speak to that student. Do I need to access supports for that student? Is that student in need of some kind of an assessment? All of those things are just much more quickly available and more readily available than in the older system, which was very separate. And it gives everybody because we all do have a responsibility to look after our SFL students. That is on every teacher. It's not about the SFL department. And so it brings those things together again, as opposed to that happens over there in the SFL department, which is what it used to be, but it's not that anymore. It's for all of our staff. And it became, it just becomes more embedded as a whole staff initiative.
Well, I think one of the big things is when you need to contact a group of students. Like in the past, you would nearly have to physically go in, get each one's email address, or nearly send them a letter. Whereas now with Compass, you just go into the class group, you click on send email, the email goes off to the entire class group. Same with parents as well. Like I find that hugely beneficial. It's just such a time saver. So that aspect of communication between students and teachers, and between teachers and parents, has been hugely enhanced by using Compass.
We used to have everything was in separate drives, and now everything is in the same place, so that nobody is left out of the information. It's all there to be accessed by, you know, even down to our merit system. Like it used to be, it was written in the journal, and unless a teacher took up the journal to say, oh, let's see what merits you've got. That now, literally a kid can walk into class and have got a merit a couple of minutes before, and the teacher can say, oh, I saw you got a merit, that's great stuff. And it just enhances that kind of positivity that we want to have around the school. And so there's lots, and you can organise stuff much easier because you can create those groups that Francis is talking about. So like when we have reading groups or we have an event happening, communicating with the people who are involved is so much easier, much easier. I came from another school that used the same system as had been here previously, before Compass. So I was familiar with that, and we'd use that, and it just, I suppose the pandemic brought together home and school in a way that had never happened before. And our old system was reliant on those two things as being very, very separate, and actually those things we learned are really not separate at all. And so we needed something new, and then Francis had experience with that, with Compass, and how, I suppose, user-friendly it was really, because we all had to upskill so quickly, everybody. All, students, teachers, staff, parents, everybody had to upskill so quickly, and this is just so much more user-friendly. Like everything is so much clearer and much more accessible, I think, to everybody. So it kind of, even though we did upskill, I suppose the fear was gone out of it a little bit for people who might have been a bit scared of technology. So the interface is much nicer for them. So they're less afraid to click on something they don't think they're going to break the internet. But at the same time, it's all laid out in front of them. So they kind of feel, okay, I can access this, I can access that. And it merged, when we got Compass, it merged much better with the school we have become in the last 3 years, which has been expedited hugely by the pandemic, I think.
I could not fault the support that Compass has offered. But as I said, we do not want to lose that, because that's a major selling point. It is really a unique selling point that Compass has.